Good afternoon, listeners and viewers to the British Business Podcast. We're here this afternoon and we've got a fascinating 30 minutes of interview with John Kinghorn from Equals Money, which is part of the Equals Group.
Yep.
And John's going to take us through his business world, how he got there, and all the facets to do with John's business life. Thanks ever so much for coming into Mayfair today to see us, John. And if you wouldn't mind taking us into your world, your business world, but certainly how you got into the world of business in the first place. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you. And firstly, thanks very much for the invitation for the podcast.
Our pleasure.
This afternoon. What I must say, what a fantastic venue in the heart of Mayfair, and truly impressive surroundings. And as you know, what a cracking area it is. I suppose it always makes sense, I think, to start off just a bit about my background.
Beautiful.
Firstly, and then we'll come on to obviously current company Equals Money and how we ultimately help businesses. But I suppose to take a step back, I started off in financial services, international payments industry back in 2005. I sort of came out of University of Aberdeen, so I'm originally from Edinburgh, up in Scotland. Sort of retain the accent a little bit to this day. A little bit. And yes, came out of university. Wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do at that point. I had a couple of offers from some of the high street banks up there in terms of some corporate finance positions, and then came across an opportunity through an extended family relative for one of the sort of leading international payments firms called MoneyCorp in London to join their graduate trainee program at that point. And the reason why that seemed quite attractive at the time is that I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do, and looking at the graduate trainee program, there was a mix of roles in that 2-year program. So there was marketing, sales, specific projects, a bit of customer service, working with the legal team. And I felt at that particular time, by getting a bit of experience in each of those given areas, it would help me become, I guess, where I've ended up today, and working out actually, where do I enjoy being, where can I add value to a business, and what areas. So going back and looking at that period, I think it's invaluable picking up different skills and experiences in quite drastically different departments as well. So if you're looking at working within a legal department, as opposed to working into a marketing function as well, you pick up quite different skills, but very rewarding at that point. And I certainly think I would never have changed that start of my career. And that led the graduate trainee program to a position within the partnerships team at my previous company, where I worked as a sort of initially an account manager, so business development sales role, and I worked my way up to sort of a head of department, head of partnerships at MoneyCorp at the time. And I was there for 13 years. And it was a big part of their growth journey now, and they've turned into a huge company, and I'll always be grateful for my time there and sort of what I learned. And I think they're obviously grateful as well for what I contributed during to that point. And I always look back fondly though to that initial stint in the graduate trainee program, because I said it just ended up providing ultimately direction to where I am today.
How many years did you spend there after the graduate?
So after the graduate trainee program was around 2 years, or actually lasted a few months longer, and then afterwards I was at the business for a total of 11 years. So from 2005, and by the end of my time there, I said I was there for 13 years in total, which is a long time, but just felt like I needed a change. Sure. So I ended up moving to very similar type business, Equals Money or Fair FX. It was at the time one of the brand names, and as I said, I'll always look back at that period or that time in my career. Very sort of happy times, but like anything, sometimes need a change. Sure. And gives you that extra purpose and drive. So I think it was a good timing.
We're all about team engagement, staff retention, and it never ceases to amaze me that when people invest massively, and graduate training programs are not cheap, and there's a lot of money, but actually that investment of time, that investment of money gets quality people. And it's no surprise to me that, you spent another 11 years there, probably 10 times the value given back to the organisation.
No, I think you summed up there that investment from a business, particularly in graduate trainee programs. I think it leads that sort of conveyor belt of sort of long-lasting talent. I guess illustrated maybe by my case, but I think there's benefits obviously for the employee, but the firm in investing and having that structure around the program. But I think the other takeaway for me was that I don't think I would have got those skills, like even working in the legal department, for example, some of the tasks that I helped out successfully with, I think that's led to me being successful where I am today in terms of working through contracts, whether it's, say my role now is head of partnerships, and that's working through sometimes partnership agreements or high level commercial arrangements as well. So having that legal skills and background, as I said, just puts me in a much stronger and better place today. So each role I had or department, as I said, has made a big impact on me being successful.
What happened next? What happens when you left?
Yeah, so left when I said, it came to the end of my point there, and I said certainly did quite a long stint, and you always equate it sometimes to a manager of a sport team or a football club or whatever. I sort of did a very good, long, successful stint there, and I think it was the time, certainly made the decision that it was time to move on. So at that point, just obviously canvassed the market, identified where it could be a good fit. And I always think with recruitment or positions at firms, it needs to work both ways. It needs to work for the prospective employee or recruit, and it needs to work for the business. It needs to be a fit. If there's going to be longevity, then it needs to be a fit. And I just felt from having conversations with FairFX or Equals Group at that time that it was just a good match. They were going on a growth journey, and they continued to do so. And it just felt right from where they were going, the roadmap they presented, and the success that they had up to date to that point, which has continued since I've joined. It just felt right based on that sort of proviso. And said been there nearly 4 years now, and yeah, so far so good. And it's certainly sort of proud to be part of their growth journey at Equals Money as well.
Can you give us some background into Equals Money and what it is that they do, how they fit into a bigger picture?
Yeah, so Equals Money, I'll go back a few steps again about the history of the company. So
fantastic.
Equals Money started off through one of its primary brands, FairFX, back in 2007. So if you were going away on holiday, you needed travel money. Again, golden rules, typically you're not going to get a great exchange rate from the airport bureau de changes or perhaps your high street banks or whoever it may be. So being a specialist sort of foreign exchange travel card business, we could provide competitive rates of exchange on the FairFX travel card, which still remains in place to this day. However, since 2007, the business has rapidly expanded its payments offering with a much more of a B2B focus. I think back 2007, it was purely private client or consumer brand. However, to this date, under Equals Group, there's the Equals Money payments platform, which again helps businesses moving money around internationally. So it provides guidance on the best time to move money, but also importantly provides very competitive exchange rates and reduced or no transfer fees on their international payments transactions. So again, in a nutshell, helps a business manage but ultimately reduce the cost of making those payments overseas. There's a few additional products through the group as well. So we've got a business expense platform and corporate card. So if you're a business which has got any expenses going through it, so for example, staff expenses, you can control and manage those business expenses through our payments platform. And we've got a corporate card which can be given to any member of that business who conducts business expenses. So again, it's just a much more efficient and better way of managing expenses. Again, that's a really popular product. So again, hopefully I'm conveying this vision of a business finances, and I guess just these products and services, how they can again just help a business manage them effectively, and also particularly on the international payment side, how they can help their bottom line by reducing costs, again, as opposed to maybe using sort of their high street bank, for example, for making those international payments.
And your role specifically in the organisation, what is that?
So I head up the partnerships team at Equals Group. So a big part of our success has been building long-lasting relationship, not just with clients, but partnerships. So when I say partnerships, that could be any third party who has clients who are making international payments, for example.
Okay.
So it could be an accountancy firm, it could be a tax advisor, it could be an international real estate firm who's got individuals who are moving money around the world. So any business, or it could actually be an individual introducer as well, sure, who has clients, or it could be corporate contacts who are making international currency transfers. And we work with those partners to add value to their core proposition. So I said accountancy firm, for example, has got their sort of core tasks that they carry out with their business clients. Where we fit in is that if they do have a client who's moving money around the world, well, we can help save their clients money. So that can add value to the proposition that they offer. So it's a really strong offering that we've got, because that reflects well on the referring partner. If they're going to introduce a client who can ultimately save a significant amount of money by using our products and services, well, that's going to be really well reflected on them as well. So
typically, how many partners do you have?
Our partner book has ranged over the years, but as a sort of average figure, we've got around 500 to 600 average referring partners who introduce us clients on a sort of weekly, monthly basis. And we're looking to obviously expand that the whole time. And I think one of the interesting angles recently is that from the COVID-19 pandemic is that businesses are obviously resetting to a degree, but they're also looking for ways they can earn additional revenue from their customer base or inquiries. Some of our partnerships are obviously commercial arrangements as well, so we'll always save that end user client money in our products. However, we will pay introducer fees and income back to those referring partners, so it can create a new additional revenue stream for those businesses. And again, as people are looking to reset and getting back on even footing following the pandemic, then it just provides additional income for that organisation.
I know our listeners and viewers out there have been fascinated to hear some of the stories from previous business podcast presenters in terms of how they were affected with the pandemic. You've just alluded to maybe a lot of your partnerships and their clients have struggled. My brain's whirring because I'm thinking it must have decimated your business, did it?
Well, I think in the historical days of Fair FX, if we were relying on that product in isolation, i.e. the travel card and travel cash side of it,
that's what I was thinking.
Then it would have. However, I said the business made a proactive attempt, which we've really successfully done since 2017, to pivot to more of a B2B model. And certainly,
what great timing.
Yeah, so certainly throughout the COVID period, businesses more than ever need expert guidance. So we always talk about the tangible cost-saving benefits of using our products and services. However, that guidance and strategic input, which our team of expert currency specialist account managers can provide, is invaluable to a business because it helps protect their margins as well. Because the thing about exchange rates is that the only constant thing is that they're always moving. And obviously there's no certainty around what's going to happen. However, we can mitigate risk for a business. So throughout that COVID period, where the fine line between profit and loss became even finer, that's where we step in and stepped up to the plate. And certainly, as I mentioned, prior to the COVID period, we made that pivot to more of a B2B business revenue model. And I think that obviously was a key factor in getting us through strongly that COVID period. And since then, the business has gone on from strength to strength, and from last year to the start of this year, it really is a fast growth, success, exciting story at Equals Money, because I think we combine the beauty of leading technology for a business to help them make payments and streamline their expenses as and when they need to. However, we also differentiate ourselves as well by having that personal touch as well. From an account manager, if they need it, if they desire it, if they just want to make their payments online, they can do so. However, if they need that specialist input and guidance on the best time to potentially move their money internationally, that they can get that from their currency specialist account manager. And I think we've always been very proud from the inset of our business on service, yes, we save a high net worth individual money if they're buying or selling property overseas. Yes, we help a business save money if they're importing, exporting, or paying suppliers. However, we've consistently had an excellent Trustpilot rating as well. So I think businesses say they provide a leading service, which is great, but we illustrate that through sort of independent means as well. And I think Trustpilot is one of those ways you can say as a business, yes, we do provide an excellent service. Because I think if you look at our major competition for the majority of our product offering, it's still the high street banks, which don't typically focus on international payments because they offer a wide range of services. And banks clearly have got loads and loads of branches, higher overheads, whereby we're a specialist payments business. We can be proactive and personal where we need to be with clients. And I think that just leads to long-lasting clients, and certainly on the partnership side as well. Anyone knows if they refer us a client that they're going to be more than looked after as well.
So how many team members do you have at the business and the group?
Well, within the group, in terms of the amount of staff, we've got around 250 employees. Wow. So, and we've, in terms of offices and locations, we've got sort of headquarters in London. We've also got an office up in Chester as well. So some of our sort of compliance operational staff based up in the sort of Chester office, and we've got some of our sales staff, marketing and growth teams down in the London office. But we've got a lot of interaction between the two. I think it's important if you do have a split in offices that there's interaction, there's visits for the departments who need to see each other often as well. You can't beat that human interaction. I think what we've learned is throughout the COVID period, yes, Teams and Zoom is great, but there's certainly a real importance on having that human interaction, also just from a mental health level as well. It's not just about sort of working processes or having a sort of a hybrid working or not hybrid working structure. I think people need that sort of human interaction and sort of to stimulate them.
So 250 staff. At the height of the pandemic, were most of those people furloughed?
We did furlough some staff in the pandemic, and certainly from a sort of a hiring perspective, or recruitment, we wouldn't have been the only firm during that period just to go under a bit of cost control. During it makes sense, just see how things were actually unfolding. And certainly when the pandemic first came, and certainly the first lockdown as well, it was a case of looking at the environment. It was kind of the great unknowns, wasn't it, a little bit? So again, we weren't perhaps the only business who decided just at that point when it came to sort of costs and the financial side of it, just to sort of pull the reins in a little bit and just see how things were going to unfold. Because certainly for a long period, when it comes to pandemics, you're just not quite sure length of time, what's going to actually be the full impact of that. So as a business, but we certainly, I think also at that point you ask about staffing and things like that, it also gave businesses a chance to reflect a little bit on their proposition and maybe structures and products, and it gave us time as well. We've got a big sort of tech focus and team as well. Where could we make product enhancements which would actually put us to good stead in the future as well? Because that's one thing about the business that we're always doing. We're looking about how can we enhance our tech, our platform, again with the aim of making life for a business to manage their finances a lot more effectively and efficiently. So again, just that COVID period, there was still a lot going on, but I think that reflective piece certainly took place as well, and where we can sort of add more value to our sort of current, or whether that's sort of existing clientele or prospective clientele as well. The
future. How does it look for you personally in the business that you're in and working with those guys, but also what does it look like for the overall business?
I think it's interlinked and it's entwined, and I think the first one you say about the future, certainly from my perspective, it's just exciting. I think the opportunity for me and the business is constant. The opportunity, the excitement, I think it's there. So we're on a growth journey. We're growing quick. We've had a good start to this year. We're very optimistic about the rest of 2022. I mentioned about the product set that we've got. I think having that all-in-one approach for a business to make their international payments, manage business expenses, also make domestic payments, that we're part of the Bank of England faster payment settlement scheme, which effectively means we can make payments instantly. And again, if you're a business, you just want to know your money can get there when it needs to get there.
Yeah.
And you get notifications when it gets there. And again, that instant approach, whether it's domestic or internationally, is key, because whether it's paying an invoice or payroll, your money needs to get there on time. And we can do that for businesses at much reduced cost than their current offering. And again, with a great service. So in answer, I think the future looks very bright for the organization. And I think that the culture, I think because of people being aware of the opportunity ahead. And also when I say opportunity, I think it's like most businesses, where's the market share? Is there still a big market? Is there still a lot of clients, new clients you can acquire and bring on? And there is, because there's still a lot of our ideal type client who are still using their high street bank. And again, that just means there's opportunity for us to make them aware about how we can help them and how we can help them ultimately save money and reduce costs.
In terms of measurement, management, monitoring for the business, is it London-centric?
It's global recently. I think certainly since the time I've been there, or even actually prior to I joined, there's no doubt we do have a UK-centric client base. However, that is changing the whole time to more international. We've got a big focus on the US. For example, is that we've got a joint venture with a bank over there called Metropolitan Bank of New York, and that again throws up a whole new considerable income stream where we can take some of our money management products to US businesses, which the market is colossal there, and just again help them in the same principle that we've always helped some of our UK and international clients in terms of saving money. That I think the US banking processes and offering is certainly a bit more archaic than it is compared with the UK and Europe. So again, that just all suggests and screams opportunity, and just due to the footfall of the US on its own. So we are looking very closely at the US and hopeful over the months ahead about having a real clean product offering that we'll take to market out there, because we've got the licensing through our partner Metropolitan Bank of New York. It's just about putting that together, putting that package that we can take to a business, onboard them and help them with their business transactions, whether it's international payments or business expenses.
Did I hear you say archaic?
Archaic, yes.
Yeah, but, and a lot of our listeners and viewers have heard many podcasts and talked about the way in which we many times follow America, and you're saying here that actually we're ahead of the game in this area over America. Can you explain that a little bit more?
I think when it comes to the financial streamlining aspect, so again, looking at those two of our core products I mentioned, is international payments and also business expense management. And I think if you look at the offerings there, what a business is traditionally doing in the US, it's very, how can we say it, old-fashioned, or if you're going back to the 1980s, that payments take a long time to get from A to B. Managing business expenses is a lot of paperwork, a lot of bureaucracy. And again, that just slows up a business, whether it's the finance department or the employees on the ground, the sales staff or operational staff or logistical staff. So again, having a product there for businesses in the States, which helps them to manage their overall finances in a better way, is going to be very attractive. And again, given the size of America, leads us to be very excited about that opportunity. And as I said, we're very hopeful the next few months ahead to be able to roll out that product, and then we'll start seeing a brand new, potentially very significant income stream to the business. And I think that's where we talk about growth. I think growth is that you're always looking to grow your existing channels, but when you start adding to those channels in a sensible way, that's how you get sustainable high levels of growth. And I think that's what we're doing as a business. And as I said, it leads to that sort of clear optimism within the firm at the moment about where we're going as a business.
Amazing. There's a lot of things that we've discussed here. I'm very conscious about making sure that our listeners and viewers can get insights into you and your company. Can you give your web address, your LinkedIn details if you do that at this stage, then the viewers can just note them down as they're listening to that. Is that okay?
Yes, it's fine. In terms of where to find us as a business,
exactly.
is that, if you look under Equals Money on LinkedIn, you should come across our company profile, equalsmoney.com. You'll come across our company website. I would encourage any viewers, whether it's a query or something we want to chat specifically about, I'm more than happy to have an individual specific discussion with them about either how we can help them directly with their money management, whether it's their international payments or the business spend side of their business, or additionally as well, as said, partnerships as well. If you're a business out there who has customers or contacts who are moving money around the world, I'll be delighted to have a chat with you about how we can potentially work together and add value to your core proposition. And as I said, I've been doing partnerships for a long, long time now, so I'm very confident we could add real tangible value to what you're doing as a business. So more than happy to feel free to connect to me on LinkedIn. Obviously, just search for John Kinghorn Equals Money, it should pop up. And I'm more than happy to have a conversation and help in any way I can.
Brilliant. One thing I'd like to turn to in this time of the war, we can't seem to go past an hour without some kind of new bulletin. It's very scary for a lot of people, and I know, again, our audience is always wanting to get the insights. Has it had an impact on you, the Ukraine-Russian conflict?
Our exposure in terms of that, Ukraine-Russia is quite low from a business perspective.
Sure.
Where I would say it has an impact is that when there's times of uncertainty, so you could look at COVID and obviously global conflict and wars, is that leads to exchange rate movements. Which means
is that called volatility?
Volatility in the market, which means this rate can be quite prone to sudden movement. So that could be strengthening of a currency or weakening of a currency. So that's actually a really important time for a business to seek expert guidance about how they can manage any currency risk that they may have over the course of this year or beyond. And that's where we come into play with our currency specialist account manager team. So they will provide specific insight and strategies to that business where they can help them, again, minimize that risk and also take advantage if there's any favorable movements to them, so they can lock into exchange rates for a period of time and protect their budgets and finances ultimately. And again, that's a great tool for any CFO or finance director. And again, it's the products and services and flexibility that you typically won't get from your branch or your bank manager. So again, so in summary, has the Russian invasion of Ukraine had an impact on us as a business? Not necessarily in terms of our flows or sort of revenue levels as such. However, as I said, where it does have an impact, is on the exchange rates and what boosts an exchange rate during periods of time of uncertainty. And it may continue to do so, but as I said, we're not sure about how long it's going to last for. Hopefully, like yourself, and everyone would wish for very, very quick end to the conflict out there, and the sooner the better for everyone's involved. But as I said, there is a bit of uncertainty clearly, and that usually spooks financial and currency markets.
Wow. I'm just going to take a time check. Where are we, Shane?
30 minutes.
Wow. Brilliant. That one, I don't know what you thought, but you've got a great, no wonder you're very successful, you've got a great way of explaining. I think it's quite a complex market and complex services, and actually you made it sound very simple. You say it is.
It's trying to keep it. I think it's really important to try and simplify it, because
it's a real skill though to explain something complicated and make it sound so easy. So what I'm going to do now is, is there anything else you want to mention? Is there anything else I've not come up with?
The only thing I was just thinking, I don't know if obviously it's not still, we're having a break, is this one of our other products, something to slip. I know we're going to sort of divvy stuff up. One of the products I haven't mentioned as much is just more around, I just want to give a snapshot. So literally 1 minute. It's just also about, we've got business current accounts as well. So it's like,
So is there anything else that you'd like to explain? Is there any new products coming out currently?
Well, just so one of the products as well, we're talking about businesses or B2B product offering. Again, one of our other successful products within Equals Group is that we've got a business current account option. So again, it helps a business manage their domestic payments, direct debits, can link into a card as well. And again, it just allows them to have quick access to their sort of payment needs on a domestic level. Clearly, if they still need to make international payments, they can do so. But through one of our subsidiary companies called Card1 Money, we do have a very successful business current account offering. And again, when you're looking at overall B2B suite of products, you've got international payments, business expenses, business current accounts. If you're an SME or even a large corporate business, it's quite an attractive. You're thinking, actually, I probably need to have a chat with this company. So, yeah, definitely worth mentioning that.
Say the name again.
Card1 Money.
Card1 Money.
Yep.
Wow, fascinating.
Yep.
Really is, and I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of people that dial in or go to your website to find out more. Fascinating half an hour interview. It went like 2 minutes for me. Interesting to understand your business, and as I said earlier, you made it sound so simple, and I completely get it. Having somebody who's not versed in your area. I'd like to say thank you very much, John, for coming in. It's been an amazing half an hour, and from the British Business Podcast, until next time,